If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, War Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for War Raw. Check out this week's War Raw podcast right now. It's available to download at iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. War Raw. War Raw.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
I got my backbone back. You stole it, I took it back. I got my backbone back. I'm lifted up. I got my backbone back. You stole it, I took it back. I got my backbone back. I'm lifted up. I'm lifted up.
Welcome to What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermsen. I'm your host, and we are so glad to be here today. It is Tuesday, November 22nd.
It's our Thanksgiving show.
It is. It's 2-2-2-2-2-2, all those twos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 11-22-22. How about that? Lots
Five
of
a kind.
Five of a kind. There you go. Yeah, we're in a gambling town. Why not?
It's a great get better than that, does it?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how you get it, but, you know, what the heck, right?
Yeah, well, you know, wild cards.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
So it's the same as in the elections, wild cards.
Oh, well,
so,
yeah.
right,
we got lots of wild cards.
You got the Trump card, you got the wild cards, right? We got all the cards.
Oh, people are going to love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to make some enemies now. You know?
So I think that's a total interlard, right? To go back to an old word. The Trump,
that's true.
Trump card, right? Because he is true Trump card in the election and stuff, and where he's running and stuff. But anyway, I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's very good. So we are glad that you've joined us today, and we're going to have a great show. I've got some Supreme Court stuff that you might not know about. In the second hour, we're going to talk a little bit about publishing. I got a couple of contests.
Did you see the government antitrust?
I did not.
Did not allow that big purchase to go through between. From Penguin Random House and Simon and Schuster.
Too. Yeah. See, he's on it. That's what happens when I ask you to help, right?
See what happens? Well, when you work for a publisher, you might ought to know about
You might ought to know about that.
You might ought to know about stuff.
And look at this one, just missed the boat on that. I was looking at some other stuff.
Yeah.
So good to know. We'll cover that fully in the second hour. And we're also, as I said, we've got lots of election updates, our word of the day. Like I said, the Supreme Court case, which is very interesting. I think you'll find that.
So, and on Supreme Court, did you know, the state of Nevada, the gov, the lame duck.
The U.S. Supreme Court or the state?
No, state Supreme Court. The gov just nominated someone.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yes.
I missed it.
She's an African-American Asian gal, and I don't know anything about her, and I can't recall her name, but he just did this yesterday, right? He's a lame duck governor going out. And
well, you know, got to take those opportunities, right?
Well, hopefully Congress gets to speak. I mean, like I said, I don't know this gal. I hope her qualifications are sound, but I don't know her.
I don't recall ever seeing that happen in the state of Nevada, but I will admit that I probably would have missed it in the past and probably would not have paid a lot of attention to it even if it was out there. I would now, but
it's out there. It looks to me like he's trying to pull a Republican move. Vice versa, right?
Right.
He took a play right out of our book.
Hey, what the heck? Go for it. You know, I mean, turnabout's fair play, right? Isn't that what they say?
Well, it is in politics and love.
I
don't know about anything else.
That's a horrible combination. Oh, so why don't we? We'll save our word of the day for in the next segment. And then you're going to talk some finance down the road here as well. I gave you all sorts of assignments.
Yeah, we get all kinds of things going, all kinds of things to mull over
and
today.
We should mention that Doug Ashby could not be here today. He's doing an early go-round for Thanksgiving, so he wasn't able to join us. But
he's
that's
having
okay.
a festive
We get to
holiday.
talk about him. Yeah. We get to talk
Well,
about
talking about him's always good, right? Hopefully he's listening. Doug, are you driving over?
I
Hope you guys
know.
are on your way to a big bash.
Yeah, they can listen on americamatters.us on their phone. They can listen, if they're close still, they can listen on 93.7 FM. So lots of good ways
It
to listen
goes
to
pretty
us.
far. I mean,
Does.
until the mountains get in the way.
Yeah, well, but like I say, they can still go online and get us or on the TuneIn app.
Yep.
So that's a great way to listen to us. If for any reason you can't get us either on the radio or we're on Facebook, but maybe you don't like Facebook, you don't have to go there.
That's right. And the game is Saturday. Ohio State, Michigan. Come on. I'm wearing my colors today.
Yeah.
This is one of those sweatshirts I may not take off all week, right? They go, oh, my bad.
Yeah, good thing your son's going to be here. Maybe he'll keep you in line.
Well, it'll provide a distraction to the endless waiting to the start of the game.
That's true. It's very true. So I will share, I thought I'd start us off with kind of a fun story. Actually, no, I won't, because we're going to run out of time before I can finish that story. So we'll save my story for after the break. But yeah, we've just got so much going on. I want to talk a bit about our elections in Nevada, but also Arizona has some crazy stuff going on. I don't know if you've been paying attention. A lot of people don't, right? You'd say Arizona or you say Alaska. They're like, what are you talking about? What's,
Well, I thought Biden said in a speech that everything had been certified, but best I know, it ain't.
Not yet.
That's
not
right.
Yet.
I
mean, Arizona's not certified at all.
He just holds true to, right? He always misspeaks.
I wouldn't say always. I think that's going to be misspeaking if you say always, because there must be something he says that's true. There must be at least one thing, right?
So it just depends on your bizarro world, right? It's like the upside down, right? Must be true there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. We are in a bit of a bizarro world. I will say that. Looking at some of the results of the races that we had here in Nevada were kind of odd. We're going to talk about the little bit of the numbers. I don't like to do a whole lot of numbers on the air, but I think these are ones that are going to be easily translatable, and you'll just kind of scratch your head and say, huh, how did that happen, right? Because we had a fairly good turnout, it appears, for a midterm, but the numbers are skewy.
Fairly
statewide.
Good, right? I mean, turnout.
Depends on how you look at it.
Every election is a new record high.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. It's just amazing how that works.
It's a little amazing. It's a little hard to believe.
Well, you got to believe what you believe. All right. That is a sign that it is time for us to take a break, and I hope that you will listen to our sponsors. They are the reason we're here. This is What's the Story.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Bookhound radio show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man in the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
In Northern Nevada, there's a one-of-a-kind home that provides temporary overnight lodging when veterans or family members are receiving medical care in the Reno area, some from hundreds of miles away. Too often, overnight accommodations are a financial and logistical challenge. Stephanie Tanksley and her husband are veterans who come for treatment from Bishop, California.
We were lucky enough to be connected to the guest house so that I could stay for 10 nights when my husband was in the hospital. So I was able to visit him every day. It was just a blessing.
Veterans Guest House is privately supported by individual and community donations from people like you who recognize our responsibility to support our heroes. And no government money is received for day-to-day operation of the house.
Please support this organization. The Veterans Guest House is an amazing resource for veterans. Supporting this organization is one of the best ways that you can donate your time and your money just to help our veterans and their families.
Find out how you can help at veteransguesthouse.org.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm here with Ed Noel today. It's just the two of us, but we're going to give you a great show with some awesome information. Some great stories.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Yeah, Ed's got some great stories for you too. So I want to talk about first, before we start, I want to start off on an interesting note. How's that? A Missouri man robs a bank using the back of his birth certificate while wearing an ankle monitor. Now, what better could you do than that, right?
So did this dude film it? Like, hey, I'm going to write a book about this. I'm going in with an anklet.
His name is Michael Conley Lloyd, and I have to credit JonathanTurley.org is where I found the story. And he said that this gentleman, Michael Conley Lloyd, I don't know if I'd call him a gentleman. I don't know what word I would use. He's 30 years old, pleaded guilty to bank robbery. So he says that's not particularly notable, but Lloyd wrote his demand note to the teller on the back of his birth certificate, robbed the bank while wearing an ankle monitor. And then it only got more bizarre. You know, you're talking about bizarro world? Yeah, a little more bizarre. He took his roommate's truck to the robbery. He told the police that he really did not have a particular bank in mind and selected the Bank of America in Springfield by random. Then he panicked after succeeding in getting the money, right? He didn't
have a plan to get away?
Apparently not. He threw his birth certificate and ID out the window as he fled. As he passed police cruisers, his anxiety increased, and he began to throw money out the window. What a dude, huh? The boyfriend of Lloyd's roommate reportedly later called the police, and they picked him up at the Lazy Acres mobile home park.
So did they just have to follow the birth certificate and the dollar?
Know.
They could have walked and picked him up?
Make sense,
I mean, they couldn't even find the guy. They needed help. Right?
Right. It's true. Before one complains about the lack of effort by millennials as bank robbers, Lloyd made one comment that stood out on the criminal complaint. He said he robbed the bank because he and his lover had gotten into a fight and he wanted to prove a point. It's not clear what the point was beyond how not to rob a bank or why his girlfriend should be more judicious in finding a life partner.
It's TikTok. He's getting another anklet. So they're collecting jewelry, right? Instead of putting him away, they're just going to give him another anklet.
I couldn't pass it up. I thought it was a great way to open and just think about Bizarro World, right?
So do
Totally
those anklet guys, while they're walking, does it sound like the Chain Gang?
I'd have
Do
no
they
idea.
have like a special
I've never
sound?
known anyone with an ankle bracelet, so I have no idea. Other than women that, sometimes wear them that aren't like for keeping them in check. Well, you never know, right?
Well, fortunately, Doug's not here to go deep into
I
that
know.
subject.
No, we don't want Doug to hear that comment at all.
Doug, don't hear.
No.
Debbie, turn down the volume.
That's right. Absolutely. So you got something there that was kind of interesting too. You got an email.
Yeah, I got I'm in a unique position, and in mortgage, right? Mortgage, the organizations in mortgage just steal people from each other, right?
Didn't you try to do that when you managed?
Of course, right? Yeah, I mean, it is about quality people, and
Sure.
so they target folks. And anyway, this gentleman's been targeting me for a while, and his stuff is certainly always worth reading. But this is a wanted ad. It states a professional with batteries included. Someone who knows they can do the job, but are always willing to get better. A constant learner. Someone who is willing to show up a little early, stay a little late, and work more than they talk in between. That sounds like an Elon Musk thing there. Someone who refuses to blame other people, but finds a way to get the desired result. A teammate who is willing to honor each other's work for greater good, not their own promotion. Someone not afraid of healthy collisions and willing to work towards better solutions. Right? It's this laundry list. That's about half of it, of just really positive, common sense things that.
Read the one at the bottom, though.
We are looking.
No, the one about here.
Whiners need not apply. I like the other one though. So
whiners need not apply.
Whiners need not apply. And the last one is we are looking for hungry, humble, and smart people we can count on. A broom sweeper. I love it. But right, isn't that what everyone's looking for?
Well, I don't know. Are they? The people that worked at Twitter apparently didn't do much, so they wouldn't fit that description at all.
Well, Elon Musk,
anyway.
I think, is so good at just dividing characteristics and character. So for me, these things are, I was talking to Fox on the phone the other day, and we talked about NFL and sports, and as a coach, as a kid coach, I told him, I'm like, hey, I just wanted my kids to be more energized and ready to play than the other teams. X's and O's and that stuff takes care of itself. I don't think that's that far away from the NFL. It's the same, right? I think the team that's more mentally prepared wins, and I think that's true with folks too. Character wins, being ready, showing up and being yourself.
Oh, that's true. That's true. For the most part, anyway. And our word of the day, let's mull that over. Oh, mull. Mull is our word of the day.
So there's so many playthings with mull for such a dull
It's
mull.
a dull mull word.
Mull.
Yeah.
There's an aisle of mull.
I did not know that until I looked this up.
So there's an aisle of mull. I wonder if they have the thinking person statue on it. And if you're like a muller of stuff, do you just are there like flights there? Hey, I'm flights. I'm going to the mull island. So you go over there and think for a while.
Yeah,
and then,
that's in Western Scotland.
There you go.
Yeah.
You mull it over and come back and you start talking Gaelic.
Yeah, I thought this was interesting. It's separated from the mainland on the northeast by the Sound of Mull.
The Sound of Mull. So it's like a James Bond thing.
Well, here's another definition. Mulled, mulling, to heat and spice. Wine, for example. Your brother would know about that, right?
Yeah, but that's so.
I don't understand.
That's
it,
a
that's
really harsh, abrupt movement for wine, right? That's stuff you do to beer. that mulling
is
a wine thing, but it's a spicy wine.
Yeah.
It's not a it's not a premium product to be sipped.
It's also a soft, thin muslin used in dresses and for trimmings. I didn't know that either.
MULL.
My sister-in-law might know that.
I don't think I would have known that.
No.
I've always heard the mullet over, and get it, mullet over.
Mullet? No, not mullet.
There we go, mullet over.
Not
so
mullet,
maybe
no.
Maybe there's an interlard there.
No, I don't think so.
Do you have when it was first seen?
I do. Let me scroll down here since I appropriately left my piece of paper.
Well, I'll talk then about. So in one definition, it talks about ruminating.
Yeah,
right?
You liked that.
Well, so I understand it, right? Ruminating, right? Cows and sheep and field animals, horses, are ruminants, right? They have a special stomach. It's a digestive process that they're comparing to thought. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. What I had seen, I thought was 1,600 for one meaning and 17 for another. Of course, it's not going to come up on my screen now that I'm looking, but it was early on.
MULL is the 4th largest island in Scotland.
Yeah, well, they had to have come up with that somewhere, huh?
Yeah.
The word, at least, right? All right, so that's our word of the day. So, for what it's worth, mull it over, right?
Well, best I know, everyone's got something to mull over, right? I mean, so what do we do with those big thoughts, right? Like things you care about, but don't have an instinct of making the decision right now, right? And maybe you gotta put a deadline on it.
I've got some great synonyms for Doug, though. All right. And, they don't use just one word anymore. It's chew on, think through, contemplate. How about this? Excogitate? Excogitate. I don't think I even know that word. I mean, I know cogitate, but excogitate.
Can you say that on the air?
I don't know.
It says say.
It sounds funny, doesn't it?
It does.
Ponder, ruminate. There's your word.
So the
ruminate.
ponder, and the other one you said.
Contemplate?
No,
chew
the
on?
first words
chew
you
on.
said. Chew on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another, that's not a pure play, right? Chew on is
I know.
Right.
They also have think over. That's not a synonym, truly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a phrase. It's not just one word. Meditate, reflect, study, entertain, I guess. That's kind of a stretch. Muse, I like. Revolve, that doesn't sound right to me. Consider, that does. So, yeah, there's some good ones there, though. Doug would be proud.
It's like blank brain clueless. I'm mulling.
And then they have a whole little graphic that gives you
of
all
a brain?
of all the different synonyms. I think it's kind of interesting. So you can go to the freethesaurus.com and look up the word mull, and you'll see what I saw. All right, we will be right back. This is What's the Story.
Let the fire feel the hole swelling up from the depths of my soul. Feel like the burning face, not scalding in my face. Let the worry incinerate, smolder out under each step I take.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. That's 800-296-1259.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen here with Ed Noel today, and we're preparing for the short week for Thanksgiving.
What's the story? Wild and woolly.
So I wanted to go over a little bit about elections today because I think it's important not to think that everything's done. I think that the mainstream media tries to move us along and doesn't want people to know that there are still things going on. And in my little blurb that I put out when I talk about the show, I said, it's a short week for most, but it's a long week for many. And some of those people that it's a long week are the ones that have been working on the elections since before the election and are still working on it. For instance, in Arizona specifically, there are 3 counties that have not certified, and I don't know if there are more. I know for sure 3 that have said that they're not going to certify just yet. And when we went to the Washoe County Commissioners meeting for the certification of the vote here in Nevada, they indicated that there was no choice and that the commissioners, this was really just a ministerial type of activity. They couldn't really do anything except certify. At least that was the dialogue that was had at the beginning of the meeting. The lawyer, gets up, tells you this is what they have to do. Well, what's the sense? If there are problems, they should be able to investigate those problems. And it appears that that's not the case, because after the meeting, we went up and asked, well, what do we do? What if all of them said no? What then? No clear answer was really given. So I think that anybody out there who's interested in this topic should really look that up and see if maybe you can figure out what would we do if all the commissioners said, no, we don't think we should certify. We think that maybe we should check on things first. I think that it's probably something they can do, probably something that most folks would rather they not do because people want to move on. They want to just say, okay, these are the numbers. That's what we have. We'll get them the next time, whatever.
They totally do. People want to move on.
Absolutely.
I think though.
I'll be honest. I want to move on too. I really do.
Well,
this has been a 2-year journey that I never would have thought I'd be on.
So right,
It's not ending.
So elections are like loans now, right? and so that means that, like, right, if you got one snafu,
right,
everybody has it. Stuff happens. You have two, you got a problem.
Right. Well, here's just some simple numbers. I said I try not to do a lot of number stuff because it's, when you're listening,
it's daunting.
Yeah, but we had over 1 million people that voted in Nevada. So it was 1,023,000 and some change, okay, statewide. The governor's race was 1,019,071. So now we had 1,023,000 and 1,019,000 actually all voted for the governor, which I don't know if that's an oddity or not, but okay. The same thing for the lieutenant governor was 1,013,000. Secretary of State, 1,014,000. More people voted for the Secretary of State than voted for the lieutenant governor, and just by just by a little less than the governor. That just seems odd. Doesn't it seem odd to you?
It does seem really odd.
Well, let me proceed. State treasurer, 1,012,000. Almost all these numbers are pretty close to each other, right? They're 12, 13, 14, 19. We're within a few thousand of each other. State controller. What the heck does a state controller do? Anybody know?
Count money.
But what does the state treasurer do then?
Speak about making money.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, the treasurer got 1,012,000. The state controller got 1,008,000. Yet I don't think too many people know what the controller does.
So you're talking about, though, the votes added up between the two candidates.
This is the whole state. No, this is all candidates.
All candidates.
All candidates. This is the none of the above. This is everybody. So, and that's why I purposely didn't want to pick a side or whatever. This is just about the total number of votes. So everybody got over 1 million votes. You want to know how many votes the Attorney General got? Both sides plus the none of the above. There were 33,000 that voted none of the above. Okay, so 33,000 people have voted.
That's a
for
pretty
that.
substantial
I think
number.
it is. I think it is. The total votes that the Attorney General got for all three candidates, none of the above, and the two Democrat and Republican, 978,000. Now, everybody else got over 1 million, but this race only got 978. Now, if there was not a none of the above choice, I'd say, maybe, right? But that just, to me, strikes as an anomaly.
Well, it does.
An irregularity, I might say.
Well, right. I think you could likely compare the money spent in the races in a declining thing and kind of overlay that.
Except that Sigal Chattah had so much negative press.
Right.
I mean, my Lord.
That's
Everybody
why
Everybody had to know who she was.
Well, right.
And even if you voted none of the above, that's fine. But they didn't even hit 1 million votes.
Yeah, that's
an irregularity.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely an irregularity.
I can't recall. I mean, so there's in my mind, two places that can be. So, right, where you are on the ballot matters.
True.
And I don't recall where they were.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't give you that order.
I'd have to revisit it for contemplation. But I just, right, sometimes, if you're down on the corner or, right, but like you said, it was front and center on the TV.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, if I had a penny for every hate commercial she had, I'd be a millionaire.
Exactly. And that's why I said the state controller, I don't even know who was running, right? I mean, off the top of my head, I can't tell you who was running. So all of a sudden, the state controller gets almost as many votes as the state treasurer and more than the attorney general. That just does not make sense. So there's probably not a whole lot, unless a candidate wanted to do something about that. I'm guessing there's not a whole lot that can be done at this point. But I think that it should be noted for future reference to pay attention to that. Because again, if the candidates don't want to do anything, then they are where they are. Okay. However, there is something that can be done, and that is a recount for the questions. Question 3 was about I'm trying to remember. Question 3 was about ranked choice voting. Okay, so
But that was open primaries too, right?
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. See, they put 2 questions in one, which they're not supposed
Right.
to do, but they did, and they got away with it. So, but here's the deal. Democrats, and I reported on this before the election, Democrats had no position on this. They did not. Now, the governor and Cortez Masto had said they didn't like it early on in May. But once they put out their platform, the Democrats said, we're not taking a position. Okay? The Republicans said no. Now, how does an initiative like that with no support pass? And yet it passed. And so did question 1, and so did question 2. And it just seems odd to many of us that would be the case. So as voters, we are requesting a recount, which is totally within the law. We're doing the proper things to make sure that happens. If you'd like to join us, please contact me and let me know. If you get my Substack, you'll know how to contact me, or go to lrpnv.com and just hit contact us. Tell me you're interested, and happy to get you the info. But this has to be done expeditiously. Oh, there's a good word of the day.
Mull it over.
Mull it over.
Don't mull it over.
Don't mull it over. If you
That's
want to
right.
do this, take advantage of it, because the questions all passed. And again, I don't have any proof of this, but it seems like every time we have questions, they all pass. They all seem to go through. And these change our Constitution. It's not like it's just some sort of referendum or whatever.
Remember our discussion when we had a little, 6-7 weeks ago, we had a discussion. We had someone in studio, and we talked about some Republican and Democrat things, and left leaning and right leaning. And I remember he was caught up on labels, names. I think it should be illegal to pass an Inflation Reduction Act that is not any of the right. The name doesn't fit the bill.
Oh, I got you. I remember.
I
the discussion now.
apologize going there, but
Yeah.
the same. It's the same, because my son said, "Hey, I would have put yes for that,
right?
But I read it,
right." And I agree with you. It's like headlines in the media. Your headline can be so deceiving.
It's not,
and
what
it's
it-
not at all what the article reads.
Right.
Once you read the article, you go, well, how does that
But
fit?
bills. So I'll give you another one.
Yes,
Clean Water Act,
right,
was a total another one that sounds
Right.
great. Everyone should vote for it, but it kicked people out of their houses.
Right. Right.
So I mean, people
Yeah, it's
need to
important to
know
read.
what they're voting
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, and I think education is really important in what we're doing as far as people voting. It's hard because you've got lives, and you've got kids, and you got things you got to do, and you're working. But I think that it's really imperative that we start to really read this stuff, because it's not like the old days where you could trust. You need to trust, but verify, and really verify, because it's not what it seems.
So I didn't even trust then.
I know.
Right now, it's like it's
Yeah.
easy not to trust.
Well, we want to build some trust. That's the whole goal here, is to get some trust going. So we're going to stay involved, and if you're interested in joining us in the fight to get the recount done, just the questions, but at least we can maybe get some clarity. All right, you're listening to What's the Story? We're going to be right back.
I got my backbone back. You stole it, I took it back. I got my backbone back. I'm lifting her.
At Northern Nevada Family Dental, we are proud to announce a wide range of advanced dental services by way of the Photona Lightwalker laser. The Lightwalker laser can efficiently and effectively treat most periodontal problems, from deep persistent pocketing to peri-implantitis and a multitude of conditions in between. Have cold sores? We can inhibit the cycle of the virus and sometimes even prevent them from occurring. Do you have a snoring or CPAP problem? Through the amazing healing power of light, we can treat tissues inside the mouth without anesthesia, appliances, or cutting, so that after just one treatment, most people sleep better and quieter that same night. By using the power of the laser intraorally, we can also smooth facial wrinkles and tighten sagging necklines, all without you having to be numb, and there's no downtime. It can even be done on a lunch break. Through the FDA-approved Power of Light, these treatments and many more are now available at Northern Nevada Family Dental in Sparks. Have I piqued your interest? Give us a call at 626-7772 or visit us at northernnevadafamilydental.com.
Barbecue, the Butcher's Kitchen, would like to thank every customer for your loyalty and continued support through these challenging times. Call for takeout and delivery of rib tips, brisket, ahi, tuna, roasted veggies, and much more. Barbecue's open from 11 to 7, Monday through Saturday, and delivers hot food safe and healthy. Call 499-5855 for details. 499-5855 Barbecue, as featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Get real. Get into Barbecue Reno.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Now she's gone like a...
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. I'm Janice Hermsen. This is What's the Story. This is Ed Noel, and we've been talking some election stuff.
Yeah, trying to mull it over.
Oh, yeah. Well done. Well done. All right. So we just talked about the numbers in Nevada and how the Attorney General's race just doesn't make sense as far as the numbers go. And yes, sir. You're raising your hand. You don't have to raise your hand.
Was there another race that was less?
No. Well, this was statewide races that I looked at. And those were the only ones I compared them all.
And so that was the low.
Yes, that was the low.
That's where I was going. Seems like, right, there's...
Well, with all the negative press she got, you would have voted none of the above if you didn't want to choose the other guy. So it just seemed very odd. Yeah. And there were 33,000 people that did.
So it's so funny to watch the commercials, and I hadn't met her until I went to a Freedom Friday and then went and met her, and what a lovely individual she was.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it just goes to show that what you see on TV is just BS, folks.
Right. And probably on both sides is my guess.
Everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't say that I've, well, I won't even.
I mean, I'll go into like commercials for bread.
Yeah.
Right? It's all BS.
True. It is. You're right about that. Yeah. So I just want to mention a couple of other states that I'm aware of. And there are many states that are doing many things. But these in particular, I just happen to have some information about. And Wisconsin, they have as bad registration lists as we probably do here. And so they've been working hard on that. They have lawsuits that are going on regarding Eric. And so from a standpoint of Nevada, there'll be some follow-up for us on that because they found some violations of federal law that are prevalent and probably apply here as well. So And then in Pennsylvania, they've got some things going on, which right at the moment I can't talk about, but I can say they have things going on.
I'm going to say by looking at their results of their whole thing, they need some mental support in that part of the world.
Michigan went totally blue, which maybe to you might seem normal, but to the person that's working out there, it wasn't right.
You can root for the Buckeyes against them tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And we Buckeyes know Michigan, of course, is going to be blue.
Well, and here's an interesting one, Texas, because in Dallas County, we talked about the fact that after the polls closed, the poll books were continuing to add people. Well, there is somebody that was working in the polls that day who said the explanation that, and I don't know what entity there explained this, but they said, oh no, that's because they were syncing up the numbers. And this individual who was working in that poll said, absolutely not. That was not true. On her polls, they were already closed out. They had already checked everything, and they knew what they'd reconciled. Basically, they'd done their reconciling, and this was after they had finished. So that was just the government entity trying to cover up, is what I would say blatantly. So what can I say? You need to check into that before you believe what you read. So in Georgia, of course, they do have a runoff coming up. And I will tell you that the parties aren't always your best friend. So Georgia is one of those states where the party, Republican, Democrat, whatever, not always your best friend. So I would say vote accordingly.
Well, what a tough vote. Have you ever voted in a runoff like that?
I never have.
So I haven't either. And I'm kind of curious how many people are going to get off their couch, depending on the weather here in a couple of weeks or whatever, on that day. I mean, you can suspect that the votes will be less than half of what they were before.
Well, I have some friends that live in Georgia. I'm going to encourage them to go to the polls.
Oh, not well,
right?
Well, they have interesting stuff going on there.
Yeah, they have a lot going on there. Arizona, of course, we did talk about at the beginning. That is just about, it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy when you know that the poll workers weren't trained well because they didn't know they were sending people away, been not taking them off reversing the fact that they had already checked in. So when they'd get to a new location, they couldn't vote. So even though they were never able to vote at their original location, they'd go to the new location because they hadn't been checked out at the first one. They couldn't vote, which would be right, correct? That makes sense. But they, at the very least, should have been given a provisional, and they were not. So there's reason for them wanting to not certify this election at this point.
There's a whole bunch of that.
That's just minor, I guess, in comparison to some of the many.
They have more than one thing.
Oh my! They have so many.
I mean, it's that's just crazy to me. There. And of course, you have a Secretary of State running, right? Who
that always
who
makes
is like, at least to me, being an outsider, seems less than competent.
Yeah.
At that, and then she's running where,
Yeah. Well, and then we talked about this in the last show as far as in Nevada, the fact that the signatures are not appropriately being checked. I know mine wasn't. And the person that, when I called about it, told me that it was my signature, even though I told her it wasn't. So did I not share that story?
Yeah, you did. I just think I
just can't believe that this person actually said to me, that is your signature. And I said, I already told you it wasn't. How can you, just because it matches something?
She was on Playbook.
She was not looking at my signature from the ballot or from the envelope that I had submitted, because she told me that. So I know she wasn't looking at it. She was comparing two things that I don't know where she got them.
She
But
must have come in and bought a book at LaRue Press and had like you got a handwritten receipt.
Perhaps, yes, that's right. I signed it, right, with my real signature.
There you go.
Don't forget that the live stream was down for 8 hours, and I know I'm beating the drum here, but I don't want anyone to forget that live stream was down for 8 hours. And they suddenly had all the hallways available to you to look at so that they could prove to you nobody came in or out. Do you know how long it takes them to get us information? A long time. For them to have those videos prepared and ready, they were doing something. Sorry, folks. And you can get mad at me and you can say I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just telling you there's more to this than what meets the eye. And they gave two different times that they said they left. One post that they put up said they left at 9:30. Another post said they left at 10:30. So when were those videos done? And at what time did they really leave? That would be my question. So
totally
yeah.
Right. I mean, so these work in the United States, right? I mean, we all work for somebody. And I'm not saying the internet doesn't go out.
Oh,
no. And I'm not saying that things don't happen, but the timing and coincidence is too overwhelming.
Well, and then it was interesting because then after that, they kept cutting the feed at like 7:30 in the morning. And they would put up a big note that said, we're updating the live feed. Well, because they had gone out, so they didn't want it to go out. How long I leave my computer on and it stays hooked up hours and hours and hours and days and days and days. So, I got to tell you.
So I'm going to say those state workers, theirs stays on days and days and days too, except during the election. Right? I mean, seriously.
I think you might be right about that.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, it's the craziest thing to think that we would believe that. And with all that has gone on in our elections, for them to think that they can get away with that, I don't believe it. And I'm going to say outright, they're not going to get away with it. They're just not. I don't know how that's not going to happen, but I just don't believe that they're going to get away with it.
Yeah,
and if they do, we're in big trouble, folks. We got some problems here if they get away with that.
It appears to me we got to look in the. So they always say hindsight's 20/20, right?
Well, are you referencing something there?
So, well,
is hindsight 20/20?
Another interlard.
Yes. How about that?
But I mean, the challenge to me that the competence of our voting folks, voting systems, being, lamer than what they have in Iran.
Yeah.
Right? It's ridiculous. I mean, we make it complicated for no reason.
Right.
It's just cumbersome.
Well,
anyway.
and the other thing that I didn't mention, and I should, is Nye County. The ACLU went after our Nye County to stop them from hand counting the vote. It had already been approved. Everything was in place. So every day for like 8 days, I think, Mark, the county clerk, was in court with the ACLU, and in the meantime, still having to oversee what was going on with that hand count. So it was by design meant to disrupt, and unfortunately for them, it did not, because they did finish, and they are going through and doing comparisons, doing whatever it is they need to do. And the word that I got is that probably mid-December-ish is when we'll have a report on that. So I think that you should listen up, because I'm pretty sure they probably have some information that we want to know about how the hand count compares to the machines. It'll be interesting to know what that outcome is.
Yes, it will.
All right, so we're going to have to take our break. This is the 5 minutes. You got some news going on. Be sure to listen. I'm sure you're going to get very well informed. And we'll be back after the break, so don't go away.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mama. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
This is America Matters Media at 93.7 FM, KPGF Sun Valley, your community radio station.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
Airports across the United States are jammed Tuesday. Officials warn this year's Thanksgiving travel season will be the third largest for travel in the last 20 years. This after most restrictions due to the pandemic have been lifted. Airline officials are optimistic that travelers will experience fewer delays as a number of flights have decreased in order to avoid overloads and cancellations. Army veteran Richard Fiaro is being credited for helping to stop the gunman who opened fire inside an LGBTQ plus nightclub in Colorado Springs Saturday night. Appearing on Fox News, Fiaro says while he was able to stop the attack, the scars of that night will linger for so many for years to come.
I maybe have done something before that helps me get through it. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be in the next year. But all this new stuff will be gone in 10 days and 5 days and a week. And everybody's going to move on. But these families, this part of America will continue to hurt. And we need to
in electric vehicles. It also wants EVs to be up to 40% of total global sales by the start of the next decade. Mazda follows Honda and Toyota in making similar announcements. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
Hi, I'm Wayne on the Root. If you like my radio show, you're going to love my podcast, War Raw. Each podcast, I present my top 10 most outrageous, salacious, and controversial stories of the week. I break down the best of the best raw truth stories for conservatives, libertarians, patriots, taxpayers, Trumpers, and deplorables. Anyone who appreciates God, guns, gold, and tax cuts will stand up and cheer for War Raw. Check out this week's War Raw podcast right now. It's available to download at iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen to podcasts. War Raw. War Raw.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Now she's gone like a little Enoch song all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs. Poof, now she's gone like a little Enoch song all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. This is our second hour. And we're glad that you're here. And if you missed the first hour, you will be able to see that on What's the Story, LaRue Press, Rumble Channel, LaRue Press, YouTube. What's the Story on Facebook, America Matters. I mean, lots of places you
NBC
can go.
with Lester Holt.
I don't want to be with Lester, thanks. I'll pass.
Everywhere but there.
Everywhere but there. There you have it.
Nice.
All right. So hopefully you'll get a chance to watch that first hour. And the second hour, if you're joining us, then you can hear it now, or again, you can watch it again later. So we have a lot to cover this hour as well.
There's so many things.
I know. Well, see, this is the first time I said to Ed, oh, Ed, I need help. Find stories. So I was so bogged, and so he's got a ton of stuff that I haven't let him talk about. So we're going to let him talk this hour.
Oh, we're so blessed with Thanksgiving, right?
Right.
Thanksgiving travel bounces back from LinkedIn. It says 54 million of us are traveling over 50 miles.
Oh, over 50 whole miles.
Over 50 miles.
That's far.
We're about 4.5 million by plane, right? So it puts about 54 million or so by
Is this
car.
our new normal, or are we doing the back to normal?
So this would be the third largest.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Third
we're kind of back to
largest.
normal.
So this is pre-pandemic kind of
Yay,
real life.
I'm so happy.
Stuff. I mean, those of you out there
Hooray.
in the airports,
Good for you.
yeah, see what's out there.
Enjoy. Just take advantage and enjoy. That's what I would say.
Well, I hope folks are, for me, I'm just about low hassle. I want to get where I'm going. I don't want to have a good
I don't have to go anywhere.
I don't
Everybody
want to have
comes
a
to my
good
house.
time. Oh, well, maybe I'm starting that too. I
Yeah, there
like
you
that
go.
myself. I'm just so excited because my son's coming in, and it's his first time home from college since he went off, in August, and looking forward to kind of see him walking in and out the door.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah,
He'll
right?
be probably walking out more than you like.
But really excited on Thanksgiving numbers because, there's all kinds of different Thanksgiving celebrations, and I looked at them, and I was going to talk about some different ones, but it is core, right? Thanksgiving's just no stress time with family.
Right.
It's just, I remember it was my mom's side of the family, and those were folks that we saw that one time a year.
Right.
And, but we went, right? And if I was there, I'd still go. I mean, we used to count off one
That's
by
funny.
one all in the house.
Yeah.
And I can remember, being a college kid and there being 63, 65 people in the house. And right, this house, when I was a kid, I'm old enough to remember they had an outhouse and like a hand pump in the kitchen, right? You had to prime the pump. I mean, it was really educational, right? It
I'm
was
sure.
like historical.
Yeah.
But the outhouse, I'll never forget Thanksgiving back in Ohio. It's like the coldest time ever, right?
And you got to go to the outhouse.
Bursting out to the outhouse. Well, not me, 63 others too, probably. But
my experience with that was in Oregon when my brother and sister-in-law had a place that they had that kind of situation. It was pretty chilly, and that was in Portland area, and it was pretty cold.
Yeah, people don't lollygag. You don't have to worry about people lollygagging in the bathroom. No makeup touch-ups going on, right?
Nope, none of that. None of that. That's pretty funny.
But I am so excited to see Thanksgiving because it, to me, is a family celebration.
It is.
Always.
It is. It's nice to be around family. I remember a lot of times, when I was married early on with kids and all that, and, you're going to two houses, right? You have to kind of split up your dinners because, one spouse and another spouse, both the family. So you had to go visit both. And, you have dinner here and dinner and dessert here. And
the kids still don't eat anything.
That's right.
You're still going to stop at McDonald's on the way home. No, been there, done that.
Yep. I didn't like that.
I didn't eat anything. It just smelled funny.
That's right. What was that?
It was oyster dressing.
Right. Well, this year we're going to do some interesting things. It's going to be more like a potluck than a traditional type of meal. We've got the turkey, but we'll also have many other dishes. So it's going to be really interesting.
I just waved away the facade, right? I'm doing a roast and baked potatoes.
Oh, nice.
Because I know Fox likes those things. I can do
That's
them pretty quick and easy. And
yeah. Well,
I'm
we're
into quick and
we
easy.
have some Roma, some chicken soup, some turkey, some ham, and then I'm not sure if my son-in-law is going to bring some stuff too. So got a lot of stuff.
Likely you'll have leftovers. Next Tuesday. Leftovers next Tuesday.
Lots of leftovers,
Right,
I'm pretty sure. So it'll be fun though, and it's always fun to have family over. And like I say, I'm fortunate everybody comes to my house, so it's fun.
Right. It's fun that everyone comes to your house unless they don't go home. Right. Rents rose 7.8% in October. And folks, that's the slowest growth in 14 months.
Oh, wow.
Right. So, I know I've slipped in kind of the economics here.
You're going to lose time on that, though. You're not going to be able to do much because we got to close out here pretty quick.
So just know that the first signs of slowing economic growth is happening. We've gone from wherever the 8s down into the 7s.
Are we in recession?
So I thought we were in recession 6 months ago, and I still believe we are.
Yeah.
And I think
but everybody on the news is saying, I think this might be going into a recession.
They're going to squeeze us some more. They're going to raise us. But so they're seeing the effects now. We're at the end of the train, right? Like, how long do you wait? What do you do?
Right.
They're going to raise for sure. I hope they don't do 0.75. I hope they kind of see where next month takes us. But I think they have to act in a smaller amount, quarter, half, something
we'll see what
like
happens.
that. But, that slowing of growth on house prices as well.
All right, there's your report. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey, sister, where you headed? Suitcase in hand, hairpin back, him in your head.
You hear it all the time. Buy local, think local, eat local, choose local, grow local. But who the heck really is local? You can shop with locals at the Nevada Marketplace in the Reno Town Mall and search for locals at buynevadafirst.com. We're all local all the time.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
Text and whatever. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen, and here with Ed Noel today. We've been talking lots of different things, including some finance, some Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah, and so folks traveling to Reno from the east need to stop here because if you travel across those mountains, you need to make $200,000 a year to buy a home.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? This LinkedIn article came out. It's cracking me up. 8 least affordable housing markets, 7 California cities and Seattle. You must make $200,000 a year to afford a home.
Wow.
I've kind of come to the conclusion you almost have to make 6 figures here. You almost have to make 100 here to
You
buy.
think so?
Mostly, yes.
Mostly, yeah. You're probably right about
There's
that.
some opportunity, but it's not the core.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that changes as time goes on.
I mean, it says an annual income of nearly $400,000 is required to buy a medium-price home in San Francisco.
Wow. That's crazy.
It is, since none of those tech people live there now.
Yeah. That's true.
They're
Yeah.
not in their offices.
They're not there.
Right. Facebook.
Well, maybe they're at home in their mansions.
Well,
who knows?
I don't know. Seems to me like we got houses here in Nevada.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. You come here and then call Ed for a loan.
There you go. I'm liking it. And you can make less than 200. It's
That's
cool.
right. That's right. Right now, anyway. So let me just talk a little bit about, did you want to do some more finance before I jump? Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, I was on social media last night and I came across a post that this lady who wasn't very convincing said, there's a Supreme Court case and it's coming up and they have to respond by the 23rd, which is tomorrow, right? And I watched the video and I listened to her and I was like, what is this? I don't believe this. So she gave a case number. So I went to the Supreme Court site and I put in the case number and it said not found. So I proceeded to look a little further and it said that you had to have the date, like the year, and then the case number. Well, the number she had given was 22-4007. And that's what I'd put in. It didn't work. So I tried 2022-4007, and lo and behold, there was the case. So she was legit. And I said, no, what can this be about? Well, as it turns out, I'm going to just read to you from this is from the actual complaint. It's on page 59 of the complaint at this point, but just to kind of give you a sense of what this is done pro se. So it's an individual that got this case to the U.S. Supreme Court, right? So
that's not easy.
No, he's gone through court cases, appeals, denials, appeals, and he's here. All right. He's out of Utah. And it says the complaint alleges that during the proceeding, there was, and this was 2020 election, there was from certain members of Congress a strong plea to investigate the election. This proceeding, including this plea to investigate the election, was witnessed by the entire nation because there was claims of fraud, which included claims of over 1,000 affidavits detailing that the election was rigged with fraud, and claims that there was massive foreign interference in the election by helping illegal aliens and other non-citizens vote in the election, thereby canceling votes. The defendant's intentional act to vote against this plea to investigate these claims of fraud threatened the election from every single legal vote cast in the election. Now, I didn't tell you who the defendants are, so let me continue, but keep that in mind. The complaint alleges defendants voted against investigating these serious claims of a rigged election. Defendants voted against investigating the claims that there are over 1,000 affidavits. You know how they repeat, right? So they're repeating. So they repeat that whole thing that I just read to you. Against investigating claims made by the mainstream news media, who at relevant times, almost on a daily basis, discredited voter fraud allegations. And defendants voted against investigating the social media giants who discredited and silenced allegations of election and voter fraud. And defendants voted against investigating on and on and on and on. So this is the case. Who are the defendants? 388 House of Representatives and Senate representatives. Okay, senators. So you've got 388, Amadei being one of them, and they are apparently at this point now required to respond to this allegation by tomorrow.
The Supreme Court.
To the Supreme Court, yes. Yeah, they have to respond to the Supreme Court. So you can look this up, go to the U.S. Supreme Court website, type in for the case number 2022-4007. It's about a 71-page, I think, no, it's more than that. Anyway, lots of pages, lots of reading.
It's tough to speak with a microphone on your head. Didn't hear this from like Laura, Chuck, or any of the talking heads on TV, right? Gail?
And there's some interesting folks that have been named, and not all the senators and not all the congressmen and women have been put on this suit. So you might want to go through that and kind of take a look and see who's there and who isn't. And I just found it to be an interesting thing, and to hear it on social media. And then, honestly, like I say, I thought it was fake.
So, so you were about to say, so hearing about this from anyone besides Donald Trump, right? He's like, I mean, I think that's significant that you didn't hear it that way.
And it's interesting that it's, now where's it going to go? Yeah, probably nowhere. But the point is that there are individuals that are out there that are as concerned as maybe you are, that what's going on, and why would they not investigate? Why will our states not audit? What in the heck is wrong with an audit? There is nothing wrong with that. Every nonprofit, companies get audited constantly.
So that
they do
cancel
their own
culture,
audits.
that cancel culture on Hunter Biden's laptop, or believe in the dossier, right? I mean, all that was just misinformation, purposefully.
But rather than just calling everything misinformation, why don't we check and verify? Why don't we? It would be so helpful.
It looks like it's happening.
It appears that somewhere, in some places, it is. And actually, Kansas should be coming out with their results. They had an audit. So those results should be coming out, I think, in December. So, but you don't hear anybody talking about it, right? We talk about it when I think of it. And, it's just something that people need to be more aware of what's going on. And the elections, just because election day is over, it's not over.
So it's
not
that
over.
blind trust in institutions and or folks.
Right.
And fortunately for me, I've never had it, right? I've always distrusted those organizations, and that's just how I've been. But now, right, like I said, hindsight's 2020, it looks like that distrust might be well placed.
Possibly. Well, all they have to do is do an audit, and they could shut everybody up that's saying that there's fraud and problems.
I
And all
agree.
that.
And
Just do the
every
audit.
business, heck, we're banks. We get audits whether we want to or not.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yep.
You're getting audited.
Right. Well, right. So why not? Why not the people's government?
People saying a risk limiting audit. Check out what a risk limiting audit really is. And when you see what they do, you will not trust that audit. You will say, no. We need a real audit, not a risk limiting audit. That, it's horrid. So, do you have more for us there?
So I do, right? Being that you are a mega publisher. Right, LaRue Press is right up there with the ranks of Penguin Random House and Simon and
Hardly
Schuster.
a
right?
big five. Hardly
well,
a big five.
you would. You'd be a big two if they merged, right? And just to refresh your memory, folks, these folks, it's been 2 years of merger talks, and it's a $2.2 billion bid. I'll call it hostile, right? It's a total takeover kind of move. But the Justice Department...
And who's taking over whom?
So
or trying?
It appears that Penguin Random House was purchasing Simon & Schuster.
Gotcha.
And they are... it's been canceled. A federal judge ruled against Penguin in an antitrust trial. And the reason I was talking to you off air is because this just happened on ticket sales with Live Nation. And Live Nation, I forget the Ticketmaster, maybe.
Right.
Right. There's two of them. One bought one, and they just blew up. Their ticket machine blew up on a big intro, on a big star, country western stars, opening tour in years. And they guaranteed her it wouldn't blow up, and it blew up. What recourse is there?
Right.
There's no company to pick up the pieces and go because they're one.
Right.
Right. There's not
Isn't
anybody
that called a
there.
monopoly?
That would be called. So that would be the Rockefeller, right? Monopoly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like AT&T, that's never changed its name. I've never gotten that one.
I know.
However, this one appears to make sense to me because this. When you have such online services, it's ridiculous to me, right? There's all this stuff with Elon Musk, and we get all the bias of the social media giants have been with us all the time. Why are we just talking about them now?
Yeah.
Right?
True.
They've been there the whole time doing.
They have.
I mean, we may not have known they were doing it at first, but now they're manipulating the truth.
And we're not going to let them. All right. But we're going to be right back after these words from our wonderful sponsors.
In Northern Nevada, there's a one-of-a-kind home that provides temporary overnight lodging when veterans or family members are receiving medical care in the Reno area, some from hundreds of miles away. Too often, overnight accommodations are a financial and logistical challenge. Stephanie Tanksley and her husband are veterans who come for treatment from Bishop, California.
We were lucky enough to be connected to the guest house so that I could stay for 10 nights when my husband was in the hospital. So I was able to visit him every day. It was just a blessing.
Veterans Guest House is privately supported by individual and community donations from people like you who recognize our responsibility to support our heroes. And no government money is received for day-to-day operation of the house.
Please support this organization. The Veterans Guest House is an amazing resource for veterans. Supporting this organization is one of the best ways that you can donate your time and your money just to help our veterans and their families.
Find out how you can help at veteransguesthouse.org.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM, plus we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. 800-432-8150. That's 800-432-8150.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Mm-mm. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hole. Swelling up from the depths of my soul.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen here with Ed Noel, and this is one of our Bookhound segments. Even though we talked a little bit of publishing last segment, I wanted to kind of focus a bit on a topic that I covered at another show, and it's about Kindle Vella and whether or not you should join Kindle Vella as an author. There aren't a lot of services out there that allow you to serialize your reading for your readers. And I know there are some besides this, but it's fairly new, started in April 2021. And I'm encouraging authors to jump in and do some serialization. It has to be new work. It can't be stuff that you've already done or put out there and published. So you do need to come up with something new. But as a writer, I would think that would be exciting and fun. But who knows? What do I know, right?
Well, right. They could be writing jingles.
Could be. Hey, I spent a whole summer writing greeting cards. A whole summer just submitting and writing greeting cards. Before the internet, you send them in, you wait. Oh, it was terrible.
You are awesome, right? So the biggest thing I had to wait on was like electric football guys, right? Because they were like all painted a little funky.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, they didn't like my little greeting card stuff.
My football guy showed up in summer. Right.
So, and if you go and just type in Kindle Vella in whatever search engine you like, and you'll be able to get the different guidelines for what you need to do. They provide about 6 different steps to get your stories out there. I told you what you can submit, and can you interact with Vella readers? So the other platforms that do this, I guess Wattpad and Radish, I'm not sure if they allow you to. Yeah, it's built into their apps. Readers can leave comments on stories and sometimes discuss them with the authors directly. Kindle Vella boasts new features that allow readers to interact with your story, but these are actually limited to standardized interactions, follows, likes, and faves. In other words, no comments. So you are able to leave an author's note at the end of each episode. And that's more really than what Kindle has allowed or Amazon has allowed. Generally you don't know who your readers are. You don't, other than if you get a review, our favorite thing, right?
Well, it's tough, right? We've talked to a lot of authors, and I would think some really cordial and great with listeners, and others likely ought to hire somebody to do it, right?
Depends. It does depend, because
Yeah.
a lot of authors are introverts and they don't really want to be out there.
It's
hard to
their
get them out there.
work. They don't
Yeah.
care about anything else.
Right. So how do you get paid? It's pretty straightforward. Authors earn 50% of what readers spend to read their episodes on the app, on top of the launch bonus based on the customer activity and engagement. So sounds like the key is, for you introverts, you do have to get people to interact with this and get them in there so that you can, if you want to make some money on this. But I think it's a great way for new authors especially to jumpstart their platform, jumpstart their followers, because you need followers to have them read.
Well, right.
And it gives your new readers an opportunity to get to know you, to get to know how you write, build a rapport.
I was going to say, one of the things I look at my social media, and I'm an Elon Musk fan, and I've started
That's clear.
looking at Twitter. Right. No, it is. So, but why not, like Doug, right, could put a paragraph of his book in there?
No, he can't. Not on Kindle Vella. He needs to do a new story.
Not Kindle Vella. I'm talking about Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter.
I'm just talking about simple
I got
marketing, right, where these guys could write, or gals could have part of their book and say, hey, want to read the rest? It's here.
Right.
And,
that's true.
And it's it's an email.
Right. It is. And I think that unfortunately, I think that authors, writers tend to get kind of stuck in the mode of, the traditional ways of doing things. And you do try to fashion your marketing plan by what's been successful, right? But I think you kind of have to step out of your comfort zone and jump in and find some things that maybe, you've not done before, and maybe somebody else isn't doing it. Might work for you, right? I mean, because it's about building relationships, and it's hard to do that on social media when you don't know who your audience is.
Well, it's really hard. I think, it's so funny because I've been doing it. You've been doing it a long time. I think I have like LinkedIn friends and Facebook friends that I've never met,
right,
that I've been connected to for 10 years, that I trust them almost, right? I don't know them. I don't know them, but they act right. I see them like stuff. I see them.
Well, like Brian Shirley, right?
Correct.
I mean, we've never met.
Right.
I met him on Facebook, and he's like a friend now.
Right.
I mean, really a friend.
Well, he's more than that. He's like an associate.
I know he is, and we've never met in person.
It's just the stories, and I can go on now and see his little movies and look at his growth and his upward trajectory, and makes me warm and fuzzy, right? Because I think our work with him on the show, and yours way prior to that.
Yeah. So think about how you would build a relationship. If you were in a bookstore, if that's kind of what you think should be happening, what would you be doing in the bookstore, and apply it to some other medium that will work for you? And everybody's got a different idea of what's going to work. And don't try and do 10 different applications. Pick one. Find one that you're comfortable with, and whether it's Facebook, even if everybody says Facebook is dead, whatever, find the one that you're comfortable with, and that can work for you. So that's my recommendation. The other thing I have for this segment is the list of book award contests. And oftentimes, as an author, you don't know where to go to find out, how do I go about doing some book awards or getting a book award for my book? And is it free? Does it cost? What's the deal? And what do I do? So I pulled up the list of book awards. So you can look for a list of book award contests, and it's updated 2022. And this particular one is TCK Publishing Readers Choice Contest. it's free. So that's a great place to start. Go free, right? I mean, what the heck? What do you got to lose?
So don't
Find out what
spend
the
money on
guidelines are.
stuff you don't know.
Right. Whatever, find out the guidelines and then submit your book. Benjamin Franklin Awards. These have been around for a very, very, very long time. And if I'm not mistaken, they are the ones that do give you feedback, which is really nice because you get some feedback. It does cost. It's $95, but again, they've been around a long time. I wouldn't hesitate. We have entered some of our books in that particular award. Best Book Award, American Book Fest, AmericanBookFest.com. There's another one. Fees are $69 to $89. So again, it'll depend on what it is that you're looking to do. I thought I was going to have a little more information on these, and if my computer was up, I would. Colorado Book Awards, ColoradoHumanities.org. It's the fee, it just says unpublished, so I'm not really sure what that means. I guess it just has to be an unpublished work. So if you've got something in the works, you're just starting out, that would be a great place to go.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Here's one, Georgia Author of the Year. I'm guessing you got to live in Georgia.
So do you have to live in Georgia or write about Georgia?
That's a good question. So go to authoroftheyear.org and maybe you can find out that. Hollywood Book Festival and Hollywood Book Fest, bkfest.brinkster.net. Oh boy, I think you need to just search that one. Hollywood Book Festival, $75 to join in on that one. There are a list of, I'll bet there's 60 or 70 of these. Yeah, 58 actually. So you got a cookbook. There's one for cookbooks. So you should try that little gem. Spur Awards. That's, I'm guessing, westernwriters.org. There you go. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to find another interlarge. Spur might mean something else,
Nope.
right?
In this case, it's westernwriters.org. Okay. So there you go. And the fee, again, it has to be unpublished. Here's another one, Tiptree Award. And that is unpublished. Look that one up, Tiptree Award. It's a long name, so I'm not going to go there. Another unpublished, Financial Times. So Nebula Awards, another unpublished. So if you're not published yet, or you've got a book that's not published yet, these are good places to go to fantasy horror writing.
I saw a question by LinkedIn asked of its members about not newspapers, but news articles or weekly pamphlets or informations, right? Are they valuable or not? I think they can be, right? If they hit the right people and they're current, right? Like I have my weekly update and about 20 folks get it every week, right? I mean, plus our listening audience gets part of it. But I mean, the actual report I send to people that matter to me.
Yep. So go to tckpublishing.com and you can see this list of book award contests. And if you've got a book that's hanging out there, see if you can make it fit into one of the categories and
right.
Or go to Kindle Vella and do the thing there too.
Or type, whatever.
Whatever it takes. All right. We're going to be back after these words from our sponsors. You're listening to What's the Story?
Fire, feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul. Feel out the burning flames, not scalding in my face. Let the worry incinerate, smolder out under each step I take.
Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there. Whether you have a small business or work from home, LaRue Press offers a virtual office and business address for all your business needs. Located at 280 Gregg Street, Suite 10, LaRue Press is your personal assistant for friendly all-day service. Need a conference room to meet with clients? You got it. With LaRue Press, you also get phone answering service, mail forwarding, package pickup, and even help branding your business. Call LaRue Press at 849-3814 or go online to lrpnv.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. 800-296-1259. That's 800-296-1259.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Reba McEntire, and I wanted to talk to you about a serious problem right here in our own backyard. Did you know that there are nearly 16 million kids struggling with hunger in America? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food, engaging their communities in solving hunger and giving hope to hungry kids and their families. But they need your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now she's gone like a little...
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen here with Ed Noel and our last segment of the day.
Before Thanksgiving.
Before Thanksgiving. That was fast.
Hooty hoo.
I know. So I don't believe that you brought a book for today.
No, I brought a turkey to pardon. No, I didn't. I just...
So that's okay. I have a book. It's called The Last Words, The Farewell Addresses of Union and Confederate Commanders to Their Men at the End of the War Between the States. And it's by Michael R. Hadley. Part 5, and they've got General Robert E. Lee. I found it really interesting. I got this in my email. I signed up for something when we were working with Brian in South Carolina, because Brian T. Shirley is in South Carolina. And I signed up for something because something came across, as a result of working together. And it was just so interesting because they have books specifically for their locale. And this was one of them. And I recommend taking a look at the book itself, look at what they promote on it, and see if it's something that would interest you. You got to be interested in that time period, that idea, I guess, and some people, I guess, would be offended. I don't know.
It's so funny.
It's so hard to do this because there's just a lot going on out there.
I'm kind of cool with like Criminal Minds. It happened. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. It happened. Well, and I think it also dispels some of the myths that are out there about what people think right now, about Robert E. Lee, different people. So let me just share a little bit. At the very end of the war between the states, 17 commanders delivered farewell addresses to the men they had led through 4 years of hell, during which 750,000 died and over 1 million were maimed. The 17 include Lee, Grant, Sherman, Forrest, Meade, Mosby, Trowbridge of the U.S. colored troops, Johnston, Wheeler, and Hoke. Those 8 Confederate and 9 Union addresses are important documents in American history because they show clearly what each side was fighting for. And I think that that's the thing that's really interesting, is they do talk about why was the war started? What was the real reason? And there are some twists and turns to it. So I think that you should take a look at the book, see if it's, again, something that might interest you. It does me, and I'll probably pick it up. I wish they had an Audible, but they don't. So I have to actually read the book in my spare time, right?
They might have an Audible.
They might, yeah. They've only got 4 ratings. Doug would not be happy. They're all good because he loves the books with all the different ratings.
Well, right. But this is probably, high frequency reading.
Yeah, probably.
High intensity.
Yeah,
reading.
but I think anybody could be interested. Here's one of the reviews. Michael R. Bradley's book, The Last Words, is a welcome relief from prevailing thought in academia and media that the South, and in particular General Robert E. Lee, fought to preserve slavery, while the North, on the other hand, fought to end slavery. This is not true, argues Bradley, and he uses participants' own words on both sides to disprove this. So it's a longer review than that. But
well, right. It was just one of a number of things that mattered.
Right. It's true. It's true. So that's what I got for you on the book. I don't have more than
awesome.
one. I just
that
have
was
one
good.
today, but I thought it was a good
So I
one.
can see you pulled out the 4 review when Doug wasn't here, though.
I did. I didn't want to hear it from
him.
him.
He didn't get a jump on you.
No,
what?
500,000
reviews. I challenge him the next time he finds that to go see if that dude sold that many books.
I know. He needs to look that stuff up.
That's
for sure.
That's a check he can do.
Well, I was reading to Ed off air, and I'm going to read this one on air if I can keep it alive. It's just a notification, so it's going to fly away from me soon. But stop. Mindy Robinson, who's in Las Vegas, posted about a half hour ago. She said, "Nothing to see here. It's just Clark County Commissioner Jim Gibson getting caught in a hot mic saying he doesn't give an SH about the public comments from voters right before certifying their own fraudulent election." So that's what's going on in Clark County, Nevada. So what can I say? Life is interesting, isn't it?
Well, it is if he's just certifying, right? What was Biden talking about then that everybody's certified?
No, they're not all certified.
I know. What's he talking? I mean, he said that plainly. That was in front of, best I know, big cameras.
He's always in front of big cameras.
He doesn't get in front of small cameras.
He doesn't know what cameras
he told the Chinese to quit filming him.
Did he? Those aren't big enough.
Sure. They have one in every room.
Oh, well, that's true for all of us, right?
Yeah. Well, mine's just TikTok.
Well, and that's true. And that's the other thing, since you bring that up, I thought it was really interesting. I was listening to, on the way in one day, Dan Bongino was talking about TikTok and saying, why should we ban it? Just because it's Chinese, why should it be banned? Shouldn't people be able to decide for themselves whether they're going to use it or not?
What? Free thought?
I mean,
heaven forbid any individual would show such emotion.
If you know that it's Chinese, if you know that they're probably taking your data or whatever it is that they're doing, then you make a choice. I've chosen not to do TikTok. That's just my choice. He said on his show, I do use TikTok because part of what I do is cover all these things. So he says, I have a specific phone I put it on, and that's how I do it. So why wouldn't we want to allow, and of course, keep your kids off it, right? I mean, but for the most part, keep your kids off social media until they're of a certain age because they don't belong on there anyway.
Well, right. I mean, but if they can prove there's something illegal going on, where's the money?
That's right.
Where's the beef?
Yeah, where's the beef?
Right, bring it
You're
on.
showing your age.
But if you got none of that, then it's a legal product.
It is, and why wouldn't you allow people to do
best
what they
I
want?
know, they don't have a choice about allowing a free
I would think.
business from operating.
I would think.
Unless they can prove it something else.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Nor do I. I'm quite confused about most of that stuff.
And the
So-
Chinese probably know my hair color by now.
Well, if you're in Nevada, at least in northern Nevada, and if you worked for the Registrar of Voters in the last couple of elections, they use poll chief. That's my favorite one, right?
Poll
and
chief.
so they use poll chief, which means that the Chinese have your information. So they do know my color of my hair.
Yeah.
At least what I say it is.
Well, right, mine too, I think. Actually, I got all those cool pictures up there. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with them.
That's right.
They're going
That's
to do
right.
like some collage of my death or something.
I have no idea. I'm not sure. I guess because they're going to, I don't know, come after you. I'm just not sure what's going to happen with that.
So I think it's so fascinating because best I know, they got more people to study than anybody.
And I'll be honest
actually,
with you.
India just passed them.
It doesn't make me happy that they shared that information. Not at all. However, what do you do at this point, right? What can you do? There's just nothing you can do. Now that we know, now we know. Now what? And they won't remove that software from whatever they're doing. So now you make the choice. Do you go to work there or do you not?
You could go 5 personalities and just obliterate them with best I know, if they're like taking notes on individuals, 340, 50, 60 million of us, it appears to me they'd be suffering from just data overload. They couldn't process it,
They
right?
have a lot of people.
Well,
They
I
can
get
process. Sure
I
they could.
get it. To process it to what end? We already process stuff to nothing for no value, right? Or no result.
True. Very true. So I hope that everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving and hopefully maybe have a little bit of time off and enjoy family, friends, do something fun. Weather here in Nevada is supposed to be pretty mild. I think like 50 is the high. That's pretty mild.
Hopefully it's a degree or two warmer than today.
Oh, are you cold?
It's right on the cusp for me. It's like 50 degrees.
Wow.
Right? So
I'm shocked.
So 54 is really cool, right? But
Sorry, I think it's 53 is where they're heading.
Well, wherever below that number, it's cold.
Huh. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. Well, I learned living with my husband, you were always cold. So, that's the way it was. He liked it cold. What can you say? Right?
Yeah. Fox
so-
said he liked it cold too till he went away. He's just been basking in cake eater warmth down there in Las
that's
Vegas.
true.
He's going to come back
Yes.
thinking he likes cold
Oh,
and
yeah.
realize that maybe I don't so much.
That's true. That's very true. So I don't know. I just, like I said, hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. And we're going to be back again next week. Regular time, Tuesdays, 3 to 5. And we hope that you will listen. You can hear us on americamatters.us, 93.7 FM. What's the story on Facebook? America Matters on Facebook? Oh, we are just everywhere.
Yeah.
And you should be too.
Let your kids meet the strange relatives. It's good for them.
Yeah, it is good for them. They get to know real life when they meet those strange relatives. Oh, we've all had some, right? All right. Join us next week.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse.